What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today's IRL Worlds format battle is between Green's Gardy Sylveon and Green's Reshizard. Green's Reshizard is definitely one of the most talked about archetypes of post-rotation standard. And it definitely proved itself before the rotation. Gardy, not so much, but I do think Gardy gets a lot better. And you can check out my deck profile for the exact list I'm playing here. I put out the deck profile a couple days ago. So we see Reshi start off with a fan club after starting Vulcan the Active, which is the desirable start for the deck. So fan club before another Volk and one Reshi. And just attach pass. These greens decks do have fairly slow turns, but I do think Gardy can be an exception sometimes because of the Mismagius line that can come into play turn 1 with Duskstone. So here we have greens for Duskstone. And here I'm just reading the card out loud as before building Gardy. I hadn't used this since very early testing when Mismagius first came out. But then Gardy and Buzzmosa kind of flopped last format. So greens for Duskstone to get the Mismagius straight out of the deck onto the Mischievous, and a Cherish Ball to get out a second Gardeon, which is very important. And then Energy Spinner, just for one energy. We don't really need to search for more than one since we're attaching them with the attack of Gardeon. So then I play down as many cards as I can here before using Mismagius' attack. I attach a Lightning Charm to Mismagius since I'm not going to need that in this matchup. And then it knocks itself out. And I draw until I have 7 cards. So I think I netted 4 cards there. And then just a Fairy Song to end my turn. Getting 2 Fairy Energy onto my benched Gardeon. Now, with this matchup, Reshi can one-shot the Gardy with a Double Blaze that's fully powered up, but Gardy cannot one-shot the Reshi. This is normally fine since Reshi can only one-shot the Gardeon once, unless you put 230 damage on it for Outrage, which I don't believe is possible for Gardeon to do, to put exactly that much damage, or more. It's 150, yeah, so you can't really do that. So you can't mess that up with Outrage. So it is, they can only one-shot once, and then you can kind of control with healing and reset stamp. And the Mismagius helps put them down even further on prizes, so they get less cards off of reset stamp. That's kind of how most matchups go for Gardy. So Reshi got a Flare Starter onto Volk, used greens to set up for next turn, and had a pretty slow turn again. Let's see here. I reset stamp to 4. Since I... Okay, yeah, so I knocked out Mismagius, then reset stamp to 4 after the greens. So I actually really like that. I need a second to think about that. It's a mid-game reset stamp, which sometimes isn't the best, but she just greens to set up for next turn, and had, I believe, a 7 to 8 card hand, so I put her down to 4 random cards instead, and then knock out the Volk. And with Kaleidoscope, you can move... Kaleidostorm, you can move your energy around the board however you like after you attack. So I move it to the bench here, And I'm not sure if I needed to move it at all. Actually, no, yeah, it was better to move it to the bench. So if I hit a super scoop up next turn, I just need to attach one to the new Gardeon, and we're back swinging for 3. That paper card on the Reshi is a choice helmet. Just, just so you guys know. Most of the cards in the decks we do have printed out proxies for, but sometimes we're changing cards on the fly so much, and I don't want to stop the testing session to go print out more cards. Okay, so attach Kaleidostorm 150, move to the bench. So here we just have a Flare Strike for 230. I Actually, is it a Flare Strike for 230? Oh yeah, the Wondrous Labyrinth is not in play anymore. The Power Plant's in now. Um, yeah, so the reset stamp really messed her up. And then there's a switch. Attach a Fairy Charm ability down, which is actually a Fairy Charm Ultra Beast. I printed out a proxy for ability and then changed my mind. Then I custom catcher to draw 2. And just a Kaleidostorm. So this game is kind of in a slow spot here. Neither of us are doing much. She does have double Great Potion in her hand, so she can heal down to 50 damage, which would put her out of one-shot range again. Okay, so healed from 150 to 100, I think, from Kaleidostorm, right? I think she just played the one Great Potion there. So 150 plus 100 would not be a knockout. Greens for Coach Trainer and greens here. Okay, tag switch. And I actually can't get the knockout. I'm trying to tell what the... So since she only used one Great Potion... Oh, she has a choice helmet. That's why I was confused on the dice. So Kaleidostorm only dealt 120, so Great Potion healed down to 70. Which was risky. I could have used Magical Miracle GX for 200 there. If I was also running a Faba or Lysander Labs in the deck to get through the choice helmet. But I'm not, and I'm not sure how much she knew the list at this point in testing. But overall, because of the choice helmet, I think that was pretty safe. And here, I think we just see an outrage. Let's see. 240. No, so that's a Flare Strike. 230? 240. That's an outrage. It's 240. Okay, so outrage there. $120 on top of 220. So I think that should be 220 on the Guardy. It actually might be 220. The dice are a little hard to see, so I apologize for that. I greens here for double super scoop up, so this is a pivotal part in the game if I do hit the heads. That's tails and heads. So I pick up the active Gardevoir, attach an energy, and here I can Magical Miracle GX, take the knockout, shuffle her hand into her deck, and she does not draw a new hand off of that. Just shuffle the hand into the deck. So that's a really mean GX move. Okay, so she drew the custom catcher for turn, and then she custom catchered up to 3, and then hits a Pokegear. Her only option in the Pokegear was Welder, and she has no energy in hand. Her hand's like dead here. Custom catcher for 2, and just welder switch. So she's like, let's just go to game 2. So between reset stamping and magical miracle GX and all of the healing, Guardy very annoying to play against. Green's Reshi can also be annoying for the same reason. It just doesn't have magical miracle. Instead, it can one shot things, which in its own right can be better or worse depending on the situation. So going into game 2, Reshi will be going first. And let's see what we got going on here. I see a welder in the hand, and I see a fan club. I also see a fiery flint. So probably, yeah, fan club for the same stars last time. Volk, Reshi. And fiery flint to thin out the deck and also get an attachment for the first turn. So here, probably discard Great Potion switch or Mixed Herbs switch, maybe. Okay, so yeah, Mixed Herbs switch. Get 4 fire energy and attach 1. And pass. And here I have an amazing start with Gardy, Miss Drevius. I just draw and pass. I believe that's because I have a Mismagius in hand, and that was my only draw out, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so she welders 2 fire onto Reshi, attached to Reshi, flare starter. Okay, so Reshi's chilling with 4 fire energy already, because she welded 2, attached for turn, and flare started another. So here we got, yeah, I had Mismagius in my hand. Okay, so we got Power Plant down, 3 cards in hand, put down a Choice Helmet, knock out my Mismagius, draw 4. I get a Pokegear. So you're saying there's a chance. Is that a coach trainer? I feel like I see a coach trainer. Yeah. So coach trainer, if you don't know what it does, so it's a supporter. Draw 2 cards. If your active Pokemon is a tag team, draw 2 more cards. It's really good in this deck. If Buzzmosa has any viability, it's good in that deck too. So I got to draw 4 cards off my supporter, and then attach energy, use Fairy Song, search out 2 more energy. So Welder 1 energy. She did not have 2. Draw 3 cards. So it could be brutal if she was able to double blaze there, but it turns out she was not. And knowing that I don't have any threats of one-shotting her Reshi, she's just gonna put the 6th energy down. So a little unfortunate draw there that she couldn't hit some more energy, either before or after the welder. Here I'm going to greens. I think I'm thinking here, like, what do I even want to prepare for this? Like, a Guardy is getting knocked out next turn, no matter what happens. So, switch and Mysterious Treasure. And the nice thing about the Mismagiuses for this deck is your opponent's knocking out 2 tag teams, which is 6 prizes, but you can feed them 2 extra single prizes in there, which essentially makes them take 8 prizes if you play, if you get to use both Mismagiuses throughout the game. Okay, and then I double custom catcher up the Reshi that's about to kill my Gardeon, and I swing for 150 and put 2 energy onto the benched. Lysander Labs comes down, greens, and that already has 6 energy, right, because the flare starter from last turn. Oh boy. Okay. Here, I think she's going to greens for custom catcher and something else because she already has a custom catcher. And take out that benched Guardy since it has more energy on it. So she searched for Heat Factory and custom catcher. I think here we see a misplay in order of operations. So she could have played down the Heat Factory instead of the Lysander's Lab to kind of dead draw proof herself a little better, but I also don't think she didn't have any fire energy to immediately use the Heat Factory. So I think she was thinking, well, if I have a greens in my hand, which there's the greens, I'll just greens for power plant reset stamp, and she can't use the Heat Factory anyway, and it goes to waste. So getting the Heat Factory off of greens, I'm not sure what else you would get there. So I guess just in the hope that I don't reset Stamper, but I think that was pretty unlikely with the greens left in my deck and the Mischievous on the bench that I can draw cards from. So here's greens. Didn't see what I got yet, but I will flip the cards over. There we go. Greens and Wondrous Labyrinth. Okay. Right. Wondrous Labyrinth was last game. I have not used it yet. So the stadium would have been replaced regardless, and the Heat Factory point was moot. So just Fairy Song because this Guardy only had a 1 energy going into the turn. Here's a Pokegear, and I think that was a failed Pokegear. And that's gonna be a Flare Strike for 230. No, not 230. 200 exactly, since I do have Choice Helmet attached to the active. So I have a pretty nice sized hand. Greens here, getting a tag switch and a switch. And I think I have Super Scoop Up in my hand, so I'm going for the Super Scoop Up play here, and I'm getting the switch as a backup. So tag switch them all there in case I do hit the Super Scoop Up. And here we go. That's a Tails. And here we go again. That's a Tails. That's 2 Tails on the Super Scoop Ups. But the Super Scoop Up is very good in the current meta, I believe. The full burst heals are just really great, even though sometimes that happens. I'll probably attach the Fairy Charm here, excuse me, just to get it out of my hand. No, okay, I did not. Actually, I'm at 6 prizes, so I'm not really at risk of getting reset stamped. So Kaleidostorm, and I do not move my energy. That Reshi has 210 damage, so she can do 240 max to me here. So she plays Pokegear and Get Welder, but her hand is just Welder and Switch. It's really pretty bad. So just Outrage. And next turn I can heal and GX attack, but I'm not sure if there's a reason to GX yet, so I might just heal and Kaleidoscope or Kaleidostorm. Sorry, keep getting that attack name incorrect. So Pokegear for Coach Trainer, but I think I have a greens in my hand, so I'll just play that instead to get the mixed herbs. I'm incorrect. We're going with Coach Trainer. So there's double mixed herbs, healing 90 off the active, and I attached that Ultra Beast Charm, which has no value here. And then Kaleidostorm. Yeah, no, I did not use the GX attack, so Kaleidostorm for the knockout. Not move any energy, which could not be risky. I have 110 damage on the Guardy. And yeah, she just draws pass. At this point, I think she's just frustrated because she's dead drawing. So she should have flare starter. Oh no, she can't flare starter. That's right. She tried to flare starter. I was like, wait, no, they're Wondrous Labyrinth. So really, she can't do anything here. Like the game's pretty much over at this point. That I sat back and let her hit harder with her Pokemon go down to one prize card, thanks to her knocking out a tag team and my Miss Magius. And then put her into a dead hand, and that's kind of how Guardy goes. So she can welder here and attack, but that's much too late. Maybe if she got the welder earlier, she could have potentially done something, but it's just too late here. So welder, and she gets a choice helmet, a custom catcher, and a baby Volk. And she's showing me her hand, like, what can I do? So I believe that's going to be the end of the set. So Guardy took it 2-0. So she does get a greens there off the top, but all she can do is promote a Volk, and there's no way to stop me from just knocking her out next turn. So this did kind of showcase how both decks work and how Green's engines can actually go into decks that work differently. You see the Guardy is a little bit more focused on disruption because of knocking out its own Pokemon with the Miss Magius, while Reshizard is focused on just taking the big one hit and enforcing single prize knockouts with the Volcanions. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know what kind of content you want to see next and what you've been liking in your own testing with post-rotation and Worlds format. Be sure to check out flipsidegaming.com and use code CELIO, all caps, for 10% off of your next order, $10 or more. And I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.